Grab yourself a beverage, guys, and make sure you're sitting comfortably, because not only do I have my monthly subscription boxes to show to you guys today, I have done a little bit of book shopping, and I also have a couple of things from the publisher. So I have 7 boxes that I'm going to be opening for you guys today. As usual, I will run through everything at the beginning of the video so you guys know what you have in store, and everything will be timestamped along the bottom. So if you want to skip along and get to anything specific, then you can do so at your leisure. But first off, we have the monthly Fairyloot subscription. So I am currently a rep for all of Fairyloot's monthly subscriptions, as well as their quarterly epic box, which I'm really excited to see what's in this one. I've been spoiled, I think, for their Romantasy book for me, because I spend a lot of time scrolling on Vinted, mainly actually not looking at books, but sometimes I get spoiled. But I haven't seen the epic at all, so I'm really excited to open that one. Fairyloot currently have 3 monthly subscriptions. They have their Romantasy and their adult boxes, which are book only, and in this one you will get an adult fantasy book brand new hardback exclusive edition, or a Romantasy hardback brand new exclusive edition, depending on which sub you sign up to. And you can also get both of them in a handy dandy combo box, which is what I have here. They then have their monthly young adult subscription, which once again contains a brand new hardback in an exclusive edition, this one being young adult fantasy. And you can get this one book only, or you can get what I have here, which is the book along with a selection of Bookish goodies. They have a couple of quarterly subscriptions. They have a cozy fantasy one, and they have my favorite, the epic fantasy one. I actually just did a reading vlog in May reading the first year of Fairyloot's epic fantasy quarterly subscription. So if you want any information on the books that they've featured in this sub so far, as well as all of my thoughts, then I will link that one for you. But this one is of course a quarterly adult epic fantasy subscription in a stunning exclusive edition. So thank you so much to Fairyloot for sending all of these my way to unbox for you guys on my channel. I always appreciate you guys. I also have 2 packages from publishers to show you guys this month. The first one is an arc of one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I actually think though that the publication day is the day that I'm filming this, so I'm hoping to get to this one very soon, and it's low-key on my June TBR. And then I have this mystery package. I received an email from Solaris saying that they were sending something my way. That is all I know. There's only one thing I can think of that I know Solaris would consider sending me, but this box feels a little heavy and it's a little big to be that one thing, so I'm really excited to tear into this one. And then we have a couple of things that I've picked up myself over the month. The first one is of course my Broken Binding sci-fi and fantasy subscription. This one is the May box. I think that this is actually, you know what, I don't remember what this one is. I know they have a couple of really exciting picks coming up, but I can't remember which one is for May. And then the final box that we have is from Orbit. Orbit recently did a 1-day only 50% off sale across the majority of the books on their website, hardbacks and paperbacks, and I picked up 4 paperbacks that I'm really excited about. Obviously for a long time I have tried to minimize the amount of books that I'm buying that I'm not going to read immediately, but recently over the last couple of months the book shopping bug has hit, and what better way to indulge it than picking up some adult epic fantasy paperbacks, honestly. But before we get into the actual unboxings, I did just once again want to mention the Goldsboro Fellowship book for me, which this month was The Mistral by Felix Moss. I am currently an ambassador for Goldsboro, and they have given me a little discount code, which is BeccaBumxx10, and you can use that on their website to get 10% off any in-stock books. It is only eligible for 1 purchase though, so fill your basket wisely. I can confirm that the Mistral is currently available to purchase on their website. I've had a couple of comments on my unboxing for this month's book and also last month's, which I did over on Instagram, saying that people could not get hold of these books because they're out of stock, but Goldsboro do list all of their leftover Fellowship books on their website for you guys to purchase, and providing it is an in-stock book, you can use my discount code on it. So this one is a brand new epic fantasy. I was actually sent an arc of this one by Penguin Michael Joseph, and it is now on my immediate TBR, because not only was I already excited about this one because it has been recommended for fans of John Gwynne and Brandon Sanderson, but I've also heard amazing reviews of this so far from the people who've already read it. With this being epic fantasy, I can't really give you a full breakdown of the synopsis without spending any time in the world myself, but I do know that the Mistral in this world is a magical wind that bestows magical powers upon people with the potential to alter the future, and I think that the Mistral is dying. The Goldsboro edition as well, my favorite feature of it is these gorgeous sprayed edges. I love me a night sky, and I also really love the northern lights and the architectural theming of this one. So I actually really do not know where to start this month. I might start with the publisher stuff actually, because I really want to know what's in that box from Solaris. But first off, let's see what Penguin sent me. I mean, I already know, but I'm so excited for this book. Oh my god, this has a gorgeous matte finish on it. I love it. So thank you so much to Penguin for sending me an early copy of the Unicorn Hunters by Catherine Arden. I was correct, the release date is the day that I'm filming this, and I am so excited to pick this one up because the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden is one of my favorite series of all time. Now, I have not yet read The Warm Hands of Ghosts, but this one in particular sounds more in line with the Winter Night trilogy, which is why I'm so much more enthusiastic about it. So this one is historical fantasy, and it is following Anne of Brittany, who is forced on pain of the sword to marry the King of France. However, she promised her father that Brittany would never be conquered, and so to get herself out of this arranged marriage to the King of France, she actually betroths herself to France's worst enemy. But to be able to carry out this secret wedding, she has to leave the court and all of the spies that it contains. So she heads off into the woods with a hunting party, and she tells the French that she is off to hunt unicorns, which is a complete lie and an excuse to get her out of the country. So imagine her surprise when she does indeed stumble across a unicorn. I loved the blend of historical fiction, politics, and also folkloric magic that was woven through the Winter Night trilogy, and this to me sounds very, very much in line with the Winter Night trilogy, so I am so excited to read this one. She's thick as well. Well, actually, she's not enormous. She's 430 pages. She's substantial. I actually don't know if this is a standalone or the first book in a series, but this is like a low-key, a smidgen of a 5-star prediction for me, because I don't like to say that because then I go in with like really high expectations, but I'm gonna love this one. I just know that I am. So next up, let us see what is in this big old box from Solaris. So the only thing that I can think of that Solaris may have sent me without telling me what it is first is the third book in the Mirror Realm cycle, the first book being The Pomegranate Gate, which I tell you guys to read all the time. Mainly, if you are a fan of Catherine Arden and the Winter Night trilogy or The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, you should be reading the Mirror Realm cycle. But that is actually currently my current reread and resume series, which I have not started yet. Need to get a move on with that. There's just so many books in so little time. The third book of that has recently been released, and that is the only thing that I can think of that Solaris may have sent my way, but this has more than one book in it. We also have this little card on top. It's definitely Pomegranate Gate related. Oh my god, thank you so much, Jess. Jess is a sweetheart. It says, "Dear Becca, thank you so much for all of your support for the Pomegranate Gate. I promised you a copy of the third and final book, The Kingdom of Almonds, but as it's been released paperback first, I wanted to send you the entire trilogy in paperback to thank you properly. I hope you enjoy completing your journey through the Mirror Realm." Thank you so much. And you know what, actually? Paperback, underrated format. I am really rediscovering my love of a good old-fashioned paperback, and the covers of this series are just generally gorgeous. Look at them. It's interesting that the Pomegranate Gate was printed in white though, when the other two were printed in black. But book 1 of this series is of course the Pomegranate Gate, and then we have the Republic of Salt book 2, and the most recently released book, The Kingdom of Almonds. I am so excited to reread the Pomegranate Gate and dive back into this series. I've been thinking about how I should have started rereading this in January and how I haven't, and I was like, should I just go for it in June? Should I just try the whole thing? I have a few video ideas, like vlog ideas, on the back burner, and I am eternally struggling to decide which ones to prioritize, but that is definitely an option. So the Pomegranate Gate is a historical fantasy that takes place in medieval Spain. Like the Winter Night trilogy, it is set at a time when Christianity was really taking root in Europe, and in this story specifically, it is forcing out anybody who has different beliefs and who will not fall in line with Christianity. So the Jews of the city where this series takes place, which I can't remember the name of, but they are told that they have to either convert to Christianity or they have to leave the city, and our two main characters are called Toba and Naphtali. Toba has a affliction where she can speak but she can't shout, and she can walk but she can't run, and when she joins this caravan leaving the city, she falls falls further and further behind. Naftali, who has also chosen to leave the city, sees this, and he also sees a man shepherding Toba into the woods where she can't cry for help and she obviously can't run away. So he follows them and he sees Toba disappear through a gate into a different dimension. So he hunts down her grandmother and together they try to save Toba from this alternate like mirror realm. Meanwhile, you know, Toba's actually having a grand old time. She's ended up on this crumbling estate with an isolated lord and somebody, I think he's like a relative, like a cousin or nephew or something. And as she delves deeper into this demon realm that she's fallen into, she realizes that the political events of this realm are very closely mirroring what is happening in the real world. Like I said, if you're a fan of City of Brass, if you're a fan of the Winter Night trilogy, I think that you will definitely really enjoy this one, and I'm so excited to continue. Thank you so much to Jess at Solaris for always looking after me. Next up, let's tear into some Fairyloot. So I'm definitely going to be leaving the epic for last because that is the one that I'm most excited to see. So we will start off with the young adults, seeing as, you know, I've already been spoiled for the romantasy. So, looking like the theme of the item seems to be a little sci-fi this month. Oh, I know what this book is. I know what this book is. This is also one that I've received an ARC of that I've heard really good things about. So the theme for this month is Electric Touch. And if you guys would like to check out the spoilers, you can pause here and do so. I, of course, will be going in blind. Now, the genre of the book in this box is a dystopian romance, which I still have not read one of those yet. I know they're making a little bit of a comeback. Maybe this one will be my first because it is again on my immediate TBR. Like literally everything in the world right now. But the first thing we have is this pencil case. This is inspired by Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. And I do use a lot of the Fairyloot and subscription box pouches that I have. I have all of my like sticky tabs, post-it notes, washi tape and stuff organized into pouches. Is this a picnic blanket? It is. I'm sure that I have one of these somewhere, and I've been thinking about it a lot recently because the place where we take Kami to play fetch, she likes to fetch for a bit and then lie down for a bit, and I was like, wouldn't it be amazing, because her recall is amazing with a ball. Like, she will not run to other dogs, she doesn't care about anything else, she just wants her ball, but she'll lie down with it. So I was thinking I could take my book, sit down and read and play fetch with her intermittently for an hour, and so this is perfect timing. Kind of wish that I hadn't just unraveled the whole thing though. But as you can see, we have this mushroom pattern. It has quite a like durable, white, clean kind of material on it. This is amazing, and I love that it folds up so small. The only issue I'm gonna have now is I don't remember how this was folded, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it to fold back. Does it just roll up like this? It does. Stunning. Great item. So happy with that. We also have some of Fairyloot's bookends. These look a little bit different to the ones they normally include. I think it's because they're a little bit more matte maybe, but I love the cutout on this. What are they inspired by? Shatami. Shatami is a series that I really think I've missed the mark on at this point. I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I would have if I'd have read it a long time ago, but you know, I appreciate the design on these. In the bottom of the box, we have the 2 tarot cards from this month. These are both characters from the book of the month, and they are the Ace and the 2 of Fire. And then the last thing we have in here are the overlays for the book, which is of course Stormbreaker by Nisha J. Tooley. So these are slightly transparent. They're designed to go over the pages of the book, and the places where they go in the book can be found on the spoiler card. And then the book of the month does look like a beautiful custom edition. We do of course also have the bookmark in here with this month's spoiler card art on, but the book is indeed Stormbreaker by Nisha J. Tooley, and you know I love an architectural design, so this one is really pretty. It actually reminds me of the way that it's like super flat and face on. It reminds me of cross stitch patterns. I'll see if I can link the Etsy shop down below, but there is somebody who does cross stitch patterns of like all of the cities across the world in this kind of like flat design, and I love love them. The original cover of this is average, I would say. There's nothing super standout about it. I'll overlay it over the top so that you guys can check it out, but I do definitely think that this is an improvement. And I also really like that we have the same architectural motif on the edges. We also, of course, have custom end pages, which are different on each side. That guy's giving Huntath a lot in this design. Under the dust jacket, it is printed and foiled. I actually, once again, really like the art style here, though. This is one of the examples where, like, if it wasn't foiled, I would still be happy with it. Sometimes I find the foiling makes it look a little bit busy. And then under the dust jacket, okay, we have the original UK cover in a different colorway with the, I think that this is the same as the original, the purple at the bottom, but all of the rest of it is like grayscale. Actually, because I have an arc of this one, I do actually know what it's about, so I can tell you guys without reading the synopsis. So this one, as I've already said, is a dystopian romance, and it's following a girl who I believe is quite privileged, and she has her whole future laid out for her. She knows exactly what she's going to be doing with her life, but before she reaches that point, she has to go through this grueling series of trials, which I think turn out to be a lot more brutal than she expected. As part of the elite of this world, she has to attend this academy where the trials take place. She also finds that these storms of this world are drawn to her, which is unusual at best, this kind of affinity she has for them, but also potentially illegal. And then to top it all off, she is also drawn to an outcast who starts to attend this academy, which could end up derailing her future for good. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite item from this Fairyloot box is. Mine is 100% the picnic blanket. Like I said, I think I have one of these somewhere. I just really cannot remember where I put it. So at least I have one to hand now so that I can actually go hang out with Army and my book. Next up, let's go with the Romantasy and Fantasy combo box. And the Romantasy is on top. This is the one that I've been spoiled for, I will say. I am obsessed with the design of this, and I would be so surprised if this is not my favorite book of the month in terms of aesthetics. This is also one of my anticipated releases of the year, which is great. But the theme for the Romantasy is prophecies and schemes, and the book is Verity Guild by Mike Harland. This is another Penguin Michael Joseph release. It's Red Tower, which are distributed by Penguin Michael Joseph in the UK. So I do also have an arc of this one, but I've been excited about this one since I found out about it, because Mike Harland is also the author of the 5 Broken Blades series, which is a fantasy heist story that I really like. And this one is a romantasy with some potential Roman Empire influences, but this is such an improvement on the original cover, which once again, like with Stormbreaker, is a fine cover. But this architectural, I love the moody color palette. I love the gold foil. I love the red, once again, very dramatic, moody florals that we have on here. And then we do, of course, have the custom art on the end papers. I love the color palette on this one in particular. Under the dust jacket. Now this is gorgeous. This is also a great example of the foiling kind of accentuating the design on the naked hardcover. The back says hide and survive, and then we also have the original cover in an alternate colorway. I think the original is red and gold and the Fairyloot one is green. So once again, I already know a little bit about this one, so I don't have to read the synopsis. This one is following a high priestess who I'm pretty sure is like the last living heir of a magical bloodline, and when a senator is murdered on the same mountain as the temple, I think, but definitely with a temple knife, all eyes turn to our main character. So she has to team up with a praetorian who has actually for the longest time been desperate to ruin her. I think that he either knows or highly suspects who she is, but when this murder victim is found and she is blamed for it, they have to team up to get to the bottom of who is actually responsible. A little bit of a murder mystery in here, not my favorite, but sometimes it works. It has worked for me in the past, and I'm very, very optimistic about this one. Gorgeous book as well. And then the theme for the adult box is venomous academia. I love me a fantastical academic setting, I can't lie. And the book of the month, this one I actually don't know anything about. It is Death Deathbringer by Sonia Pagliarini. Once again, a completely redesigned cover on this one, so I will overlay the original over the top. This one is very reminiscent to me of the cover that Fairyloot did for Broken Souls and Bones by L.J. Andrews, which was one of my favorite books of last year. I do actually quite like the original cover of this, and I would say that I like this one probably about the same. I don't really have a preference between the two, but this one of course has all of the extras, and I actually really like the gold foil that we have on here. I love me a snake design as well. On the printed edges, that snake design continues. We also have a crow. I do really like the black and red color palette as well. Oh, I love the art style on the end pages for this month. Stunning on both sides. And then under the dust jacket, this is pretty. I do like that. That's very, very nice. We also have a quote on the back, and then under the dust jacket we have the original cover, kind of an inverted color palette with a red background and a black design, as opposed to a black background and a red design. So as I said, this is the one that I know nothing about, so I will read you guys the synopsis. It says, a forbidden love, a hidden murderer, a deadly magic. Born with the ability to speak with the dead, Viola hates her magic. It killed her sister Olivia, and if she doesn't learn why, it will kill her too. Her only hope lies within the perilous walls of Gorhale Institute of Magic, where Olivia spent her final days. There, on the trail of the growing mystery, Viola clashes with Silas, a poison mage whose magic stems from 3 immortal snakes. Tormented by his mother's untimely demise, Silas's hatred for death mages runs deep. He is determined to keep Viola at a distance, but when an attack forces him to heal her, their fates become intertwined by a magical bond that threatens to upend his loyalties and his common sense. Drawn together by grief, magic, and a growing attraction, Viola and Silas follow a mysterious killer through Gorhale's treacherous passageways, where secrets fester beneath the stone and the dead refuse to rest. As enemy lines begin to blur and their undeniable attraction grows, Viola and Silas uncover a chilling conspiracy. Someone is hunting mages for their magical relics, and if they can't uncover the killer in time, Viola will be next. This sounds really good. This sounds like I'm going to really enjoy it. Even though it's not my favorite cover of the 3 that we've had today, that definitely goes to Verity Guild. Definitely my favorite end pages, I would say, on this one. And then finally for the Fairyloots, we will crack open the epic. I actually can't remember what this book is, which is even more exciting. The theme is marked for murder, and the book is Mortardance Peril by RJ Barker. Ooh. I'm guessing that this is a completely custom design. I'll overlay the original. I can't remember what the regular cover looks like. Okay, once again, the original cover isn't really doing anything for me. This is not my favorite in general. I do think it's a very different style from Fairyloot, and I like the color of the foiling on here. I do love, though, the edges. I think that the edges on here are absolutely gorgeous. They're very, very intricate. We also have, as always, the custom end pages. Oh, I really like those ones. That's nice. I like that we're getting a lot of like landscape and architectural kind of end papers on the Epic Fantasy box. Under the dust jacket is gorgeous. Maybe my the Verity Guild Naked hardcover is really nice, but I also really like this front panel. It is different on the back, and there we have the original cover in a different colorway. I remembered, even though I couldn't remember what this book was, I did think that there was a reason that I wasn't as excited about this book as I have been the previous books that I've gotten in the Epic subscription. And the reason is that I've actually met RJ Barker before. He's actually reasonably local to me, so he chairs a lot of events at Waterstones Leeds, and he chaired the John Gwynne event that I went to, and there was like a joint sign-in. RJ Barker is such a wonderful, interesting person, but the way that he described his writing process, his plotting process, the kind of story that he writes, I am not sure if he's an author for me. This is going to be my first foray into RJ Barker, but from the kind of interview where he was talking about his books, he is very much a ride the vibe kind of writer. And when it comes to fantasy, I am not a very ride the vibe kind of reader. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I do plan on doing a follow-up to the Epic Fantasy vlog that I did with the next 4 Fairyloot books. So, I mean, keep an eye out for that, but it's going to be in like a year. But the synopsis on this one. Iridy can speak to the dead, but the living want him silenced. Mortardance can speak to the dead, and Iridy Hasp is the greatest of them all, not that they'll admit it, and not that anyone actually likes the Mortardance. or Iridy in particular. Nonetheless, Elbe is a city of tradition, and tradition calls for martyrdance to attend a death. But when Iridy reads the corpse of a low-level record keeper, he's dragged into a conspiracy that will see someone close to him murdered, and Iridy framed for the crime. The eyes of the city guilds, nobles, and villains all fixed on him. With only days to prove his innocence before he is executed, Iridy is forced to work with unlikely and unwanted allies, a street urchin and a hulking inhuman mercenary from the sea people city of Oknusoka. With danger and death lurking around every corner and trust a luxury, Iridy is running out of time. He must save himself and his friends, as well as Elbe, the magnificent, terrifying, complicated city that he loves, or darkness will fall on them all. So it definitely sounds interesting. We'll see if RJ Barker's writing style works for me though. To round out these subscriptions, we will take a look at the Broken Binding book for me. This is quite a light box, and I have actually noticed that the majority, if not all, I'd have to stack them all up to clarify, but the majority of the Broken Binding subscription books have been quite small, which I'm surprised about given that it is like a adult fantasy subscription. This is tiny. It is a very small book. Oh, I remember what this one is now. I do have another book by this author that I haven't read yet, but the Broken Binding theme for me is ghostly memories. I do really like the Broken Binding packaging. And oh, I like the colours. The book of the month is The Girl of a Thousand Faces by Sonia Dean. I much prefer this cover to the original. The other one, once again, is fine. I just think that this one's a little bit nicer. I like the pink that we have on here as well. And the other Sonia Dean book I have, I'm pretty sure is a horror or like a fantasy horror. I think it's The Book Eaters. Yes, which according to this is Sonia Dean's only other published work. So given that I'm assuming that this is also a horror or has some kind of horror element to it, I think that both the original cover and also the Broken Binding cover is fitting. I don't actually know what this one's about, so I'm gonna have to read you guys the synopsis, but here are the edges. We have, oh yeah, this is definitely horror. I wonder what kind of horror it is though, because I do like horror, but there's some that I just really don't get along with, but I'm also not experienced enough in the genre to be able to identify yet what exactly it is that I don't like. I do really like the foiled cover that we have under here. And then under the dust jacket, you know what, actually looking at this, it is really pretty. The original cover, I'll admit I was imagining it differently, and I like the alternate colorway on this one, which is more pink, while I think that the original is orange. It actually matches my hair really well. So the synopsis on this one is, oh, it's historical. It says 1975 Hong Kong. Do you like ghost stories, little sister? Sit down, get comfortable. You haven't heard this one before. Mercy Chan is a triad exorcist with a mysterious past. After washing up on the shores of Hong Kong with no memory during World War II, she found a home in Kowloon Walled City, an infamous ghost-infested slum full of lost and traumatized civilians. Since the war ended, Mercy has rebuilt her life and found work as a ghost talker for the local triad, dealing with the angry and bitter spirits who haunt this place. But the past she can't remember won't let her go. An unusually powerful ghost lurks in Kowloon's waterways, drowning innocents and threatening the district. Unnervingly, it claims to know Mercy and her forgotten childhood. As Mercy is drawn into a deadly cat and mouse game with this malignant spirit, she begins to realize that the monster she fights within these walls may well be one of her own making. A breathtaking historical fantasy where ancient myths and local legends combine in a story of ghosts, grief, and women who will not forgive. This actually sounds really, really good, and I hope I really love this one. I am planning on making a little series of videos that is similar to the Fairyloot Epic Fantasy vlog that I've just done, and that should be coming in some months. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you're interested. And then finally, we just have my little shopping spree to dive into. I think only one of these is unexpected. Everything else makes perfect sense, but the one that's more unexpected is right on top, and that is, oh, she's thick and she's mad. That is Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. Now, I have heard amazing things about this book. I do actually already own The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan, which I wanted to try, but this has an incredibly high rating, and everybody who I've seen read this has loved it, which really has me intrigued. And I also potentially may be picking this up before the end of the year. So when I saw that it was on Orbit's 50% sale, I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get my hands on this one. one. I don't actually know anything about it though, if I'm being honest. So let me read you guys the synopsis. It says, the order fights, but often it fights in shadow. Without glory or reward, we have no banners. Valen Alsona is the 6th Order's newest recruit. Under their brutal training regime, he learns how to forge a blade, survive the wilds, and kill a man quickly and quietly, all in the name of protecting the realm and the faith. Now his skills will be put to the test. War is coming. Valen must draw upon every essence of his strength and cunning if he is to survive the coming conflict. Yet as the world teeters on the edge of chaos, Valen will learn that the truth can cut deeper than any sword. As is typical with epic fantasy synopses, that gave me very little, if I'm being honest. So I'm happy to just go on everybody's recommendations on this one. This is the first book in a trilogy, and I have heard that each book in this series is not as good as the one that came before it. So the average ratings are declining. But there is also a spin-off duology to this, which is once again rated very, very highly. So I'm willing to potentially suffer through a couple of books, providing that the other 3 are really good. And I have been wanting to read a little from Anthony Ryan for a while in general. So maybe this will inspire me to pick up The Waking Fire, which has been honestly there for too long. I'm not talking about that. Next up, I have 2 books in the same series, and that is The Bone Raiders and Sisters of the Lizard by Jackson Ford. So The Bone Raiders, if you guys remember, was one of the book picks for the Fairyloot Epic Fantasy subscription. And especially now that I've read the book, I love the Fairyloot edition, but I do not think that they are going to be making a matching edition. Jackson Ford actually commented on my video and said that they're not, and I feel like that's a pretty reliable source of information. And this is actually a straight to paperback series, so the sequel that has just been released like literally last month is already out in paperback, so I felt like I should pick these up so that they match, especially at 50% off. But I don't know if I want to part with my Fairyloot edition yet. I gave Bone Raiders 4 stars, so if I give Sisters of the Lizard 5 stars, I'm going to buy the broken binding edition of this one and flip my cover around on my Fairyloot edition, so I have like a matching cover just in a different colorway. I think that is what I'm gonna do. I'll let this book be the decider. So this was actually the book in the subscription that I thought I would like the least, and it turned out being my favorite of the bunch. In this series, we are following a raiding clan called the Ricarda, who live on these vast plains called the Tapestry. There is also a Khan that lives in this area, and he has decided to establish a city to help protect his lands from all of the other powerful people in surrounding areas, surrounding countries. And to fill his city, he has been claiming all of the small villages, small communities in this world, all of the raiding clans, and he has been forcing them to join the city. And this city has like no infrastructure. It's essentially just a giant slum. The Ricarda want nothing to do with this city. However, it is becoming more and more difficult for them to live in the Tapestry when they don't even have anybody to raid. And as well as that, the Khan's city is disrupting the hunting grounds of giant fire-breathing lizards who are now making their way down to the Tapestry to hunt for food, and they are encountering people like the Ricarda. So the Ricarda decide that they are going to try and harness the power of these giant fire-breathing lizards to help them to stand their ground against the Khan. The writing in this is humorous, like the dialogue can be quite funny. It's also a like modern dialogue style on a like assumed historical backdrop, but I thought that Jackson Ford did a really good job of balancing the humorous language with a lot more serious and sensitive topics. And I really like, the more I think about this book, the more I really enjoyed it. And I've heard that the sequel is super dark, which is why I'm like, okay, if I end up giving this one 5 stars, if it rips my heart out, then I will be picking up that sequel in hardback. And then of course I had to take this opportunity to pick up the last book for this round of Catch Up Book Club, which is The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, the final book in the Bloodsworn saga. This one is John Gwynne's Norse mythology inspired epic fantasy series. I honestly, still 2 books deep into this series, cannot give you a succinct synopsis on this series. Like, we follow 3 main perspectives to start off with, and without diving into each one's like individual driving motivations, the only thing I can tell you that they have in common at the beginning of this series is that they're all looking for children, which gives you nothing. The gods also play like a really big part in this world. It is well known in the history of this world that the gods went to this place is thought of myth now, but they essentially all fought it out and all of the gods killed each other, and the bones of the gods are very valuable in this world. Like, one of the cities is built in the skeleton of the snake god, which is like truly absolutely enormous, and some of them are hunting down this like mythical place so they can find the very valuable bones and sell them to make their riches. And we also have some political upheaval in here because, like the bone raiders, there are a lot of powerful people surrounding this land, and so there is a woman who has established herself as queen who is trying to claim all of these little jarldoms as her own to help them stand as a united force against all of these people who may come to conquer them. And the humans foolishly try to harness the power of the gods to give them an advantage, and a lot of the regular people of this world, some of which are our main characters, accidentally get swept up in this whole mess. I think that's the best that I can do, but I really need to work on a better summary of this one for everyone's sake. So those are all of the books from this unboxing. When I said to you guys I don't think I'm gonna have an unboxing as large as this on my channel anytime soon, I completely didn't even take into account that these boxes had multiple books in. I was just like, wow, 7 boxes is a lot, and now I'm sat here with 14 books on the 2nd of June. This does not bode well for the rest of the month. If I already have 14 books here, what is my total amount of books hauled going to be for this month? I need to crack on and get some reading done. No more making videos, reading only for the rest of the month to get through this stack. You know what? These guys are all just like pretty standard, so I'm just gonna leave them here. These are all of these special editions from today's unboxing. As usual, I'll give you guys a little bit of a closer look to see them all together, and I'll show you the gorgeous edges. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite edition from this month's video is. Mine is, without a doubt, Verity Guild. I am obsessed. Potentially one of my best Fairyloot editions of the year. I love this design, and it makes me so happy that I have a good chance of also enjoying this book, because you know how it is with me, I never love my favorite editions. My favorite editions are never my favorite books. And I'm sick of my track record in that regard. One of the only exceptions I have is Heavenly Bodies by Amani Ariu, but because this is a romantasy that sounds really interesting to me but also is by an author that I've enjoyed in the past, I feel like there is a good chance that I'll really enjoy this one, which is excellent news. So once again, a big thank you to Fairyloot, Penguin and Solaris for sending me some of the boxes that contributed towards this video. Down in my description box you will find a link to the websites, the social media, and any discount codes I may have for anything that I've opened here today. But aside from that, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Patreon if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go and nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.